Let me even first start by telling you that I'm Senator Matthew Urhoghide. I had the privilege of representing Edo South Central District between 2015 and 2023. A senator is always a senator. We don't have former senators. So I represented the district, the time for the 8 years I mentioned to you. Honorable Samoya too, has been my friend and political associate, for some time. First we were in the PDP, some years back, before he left for the, still remained in the PDP, and then I went to the APC. And then myself too, I was in the PDP with him when I came from the ACN. And after that, of course, I came out to the APC, last year when I met him. All the time, it was all, political struggle, for him to get elected. First, he wanted to go to the House of Representatives, then, of course, this time around to the House of Assembly, because that was a lot more convenient, for him. He won the election, last year and, got elected to the State House of Assembly, representing one of the two constituencies in Urhoghide. Being there too, is a principal officer, representing, the party, which of course is a minority, in the House of Assembly. Like we met at his, at his function, over the weekend. He was celebrating, the social aspect of the Igwe festival, in his constituency, that is in his own place, Evbaguehita, in Urhoghide, local government area. We, his political associates, his friends, and some of his political leaders, were all there, at his invitation. And we're there to wine and dine, and enjoyed ourselves, at least in the midst of his constituents. His constituents were there, because he took it to them. Not that he had the party in Benin, he took it to the village, he took it to his own domain, in the village. That is his primary constituency, to have the celebration. So it was quite, a nice time that we had with him there, particularly in the midst of his constituents, who saw it as something new, something novel, for somebody who represents you in the House of Assembly in Benin, bringing the social event, and for an event like Igwe Festival, bringing it to the village and celebrating, with your other colleagues, because the Speaker of the House of Assembly, Right Honorable Blessing Evbaguehita was there, and then it was a good session for each and every one of us. In fact, even across party line, a lot of those in the PDP, those in APC, they were all there, and of course, even some members of the Labour Party, and their leaders were there. So it tells you the character of the person, that it's across the spectrum, acceptable to everybody. So we had a good time. It was after I left church on Sunday, my church in Benin, that I drove there, to be with him, honoring that invitation. As I got in there, a lot of others came in, and you see that we spent some quality time with him, celebrating with him and his, with his constituents, in that, in that place. So Atu is, is a friend to all, and his politics is the politics of no bitterness, because everybody that you saw there, the conviviality, the amity that existed, you would know that it's a man that is accepted across board. Not just that because he's in the APC, with me, I had functions before. When I was in the PDP, I attended. A lot of the people were there, attended because of his person, because of his acceptability, and he himself knowing that once we are elected to represent everybody, and majority of the people were there that they do not even belong to any political party. So it is the way they perceive him, the way they respect him, and the way they support him. And then, of course, the quality representation that he has given to his people. So it was a good time. Now we must always be reminded, even by the provision in our constitution, that power belongs to the people. When you say power belongs to the people, it's not just mounting something. Because if you look at the provision of our constitution, power is only derivable from the people. It is the people that go to elect those who represent them. Electing them meaning casting their sovereignty through the ballot paper, in an election, to say, I give you the sole authority, through this ballot paper, to rule over me, to represent me. So when the people surrender their sovereignty to you, it is one of the greatest trusts that anybody can place, or a people can place on somebody. So it's a privilege. So with Atu getting the mandate of his people, and now going back to them to say, I'm one of you. I'm the person you sent. I'm your servant. Now, at this time of the year, these are the events that take place in this my community. Where I hail from. So I'm here to be with you. I'm here, to celebrate with you. And in fact, he was there to celebrate, made all the provisions for them. Exactly. For the people to believe that, yes, this is somebody who is our representative. Exactly. We have not misplaced our trust. And the mandate that we are freely giving to him through the sanctity of the ballot box, it is not a misnomer on our side. It's not a mistake on our side. We give it to him, and here he is with us. This time of the year is a period of celebration, and he has come to join us. So there is no better way somebody can elicit proper representation other than that we have seen. And what he has to do subsequently, attracting projects and all the other things, we stem from this relationship that he has with the people. The relationship, no doubt about, is cordial. The relationship you can see is healthy. And then, of course, you can see that it is a dual, relationship. On two sides, from him and from the people. So I think what they saw of him, that day, to say this is a proper, representative of the people, because even at this time, he's there to share with them. Made huge provisions that day, food and drinks for his constituents, dancing with them, and people feeling that this is really one of us. This is the person that is with us. Exactly. So that is good representation. That is quality representation. And let me say this, I'm not even surprised at Atu, not minding his social status. Sunday was my first time of going to go to his village. Evbaguehita is not the only place he represents. All the neighborhood, the whole of that constituency in Urhoghide, Urhoghide, is his constituency. So, but that he was right at the heart of his own village. And you could see his presence in that place. Having a bungalow, a small house there that people can come to. It is not a representative that is in our urban center in Benin. He doesn't go home. He goes home only when he wants the votes of the people. But you could see that he's there with them. And there is no better, I don't think there's any better representation or any better thing to qualify the kind of representation that he gives to these people. His quality. And he doesn't really need to come only when there's election to ask for their support. He's already giving them support. And then, of course, this thing has to burn on reciprocity. The people too will give him support when the time arises or when the time comes. Exactly. So, and you can see what is going on. There, the people were already saying that day, overhead, when they were saying, he has given us scholarships. He has started building schools. He's giving them street lights. You can see where you have solar street lights in the village settlement, what nightlife will be like in that place. If you have other forms of activities like markets, certainly they can go far into the night because there are street lights, okay? You can see that the people can now see themselves. And then the era of darkness has been removed from those dark alleys around the village. And you can see the level of interaction amongst the people under the glare of solar street lights. You know, you can see he has brought that life to his people, you know. And then in which case, criminality goes down. Because there are no dark places harboring criminals and such like, you know. So Atu has done well, you know, and I'm not surprised that with this kind of character, you know, what I saw of him that day and the response from his people is to suggest that, yes, this is indeed somebody who has a very healthy relationship with his constituents. I look at across board. That day, too, the clergy, they were not rolled out. They were there. The Reverend Father in the Catholic Church, they were there. They were the ones that offer prayers. So you can see that across board, even though it's a social event commemorating the Igwe festival, the Reverend Father, those in the church, they were seated. Yes, because Atu, as a politician, as a representative of the people, has all of these people supporting him across board. And so it was very exciting to see all of them in one place, you know, attending to his invitation and being with him, you know, to have that kind of celebration.
Thank you.
Maybe from the last role I played in the party as Director General of the campaign organization. You know, in those South Senatorial districts, it's one very important and difficult senatorial district, being the largest in the state. In those South Senatorial districts, no doubt, it's about 56-58% of the state. Okay. And any person that gets the support, political support in those South Senatorial district, is more likely to win the election at the state level. Okay. And to the glory of God, I think we have, you know, tried to leave, you know, landmarks and legacies to that, you know, the younger people, you know, or the smaller representatives of these constituencies, whether it's the state constituency or federal constituency, you know, can really copy from. And, you know, both in the PDP, the APC, and even in Labour, for those who have had now the privilege of being elected, without sounding immodest, I think, you know, the things I've been able to do, you know, attracting federal presence to those houses into that district. And then, of course, again, some of the things I even had to do on my own, which I consider, you know, part of the social contract I had with people of Edo State. You know, many of them still see it as things that they should emulate, you know, so that they'll be able to do within the precincts, you know, of their own jurisdiction, you know, whether it's the state constituency or federal constituency, or even at the state level, to say, yes, these are the things we must do, so that the people, the greater majority of the people, will be beneficiaries of these efforts. You know, Atu is one of them. We saw it too that, you know, with the 6 wards that he represents in our assembly, you know, if Senator Urhoghide could do this, you know, in the 77 wards, and particularly the 12 wards in Orion, you know, where, of course, I made my presence, you know, attracting federal government to these places, you know, that it's a thing that it too has to emulate to make sure that he's able to represent, you know, and deliver, you know, to his own people. So, with some of the things that we did, that one, of course, had to touch the campaign that I led, you know, as the Director General of the governorship election for the APC and for our candidates. Atu, those of them who are elected, they were one of the persons too that, you know, that were able to champion, you know, campaigns in their small A places, you know, in their constituencies. So he was one of those persons who worked with me, you know, in the election. And he had, you know, the time we went to his constituency to campaign, he had, something to tell them.
Exactly.
That within the period of time that he has presented, then what they have done. And because of him, we got some votes. Because there was already a true representation or a beneficial representation that they had given to his people. So for me, if Atu was one of the persons, elected representatives who made the job easier, for me as the Director General of the campaign. It was equally good too that in Oriamo, I had tried the 12 wards. In Oriamo, there was no wards really that I didn't even have a mark, including the place where we were, Obanosa. I remember the street lights and some of those things I had to put in there, to be able to make my presence felt that time. And which, of course, is still a legacy that went for, the party, the APC, even though I was in the PDP then. Exactly. It went for them and it added value for people to say, yes, if it's Senator Urhoghide, what he did for us, anywhere he goes, we will know that, yes, it's a noble cause. We will support him. So that, again, rubbed up positively on the election of Senator Monday Okpebholo. So with that one, I would say that Ato and I haven't worked together. We put the Sussex, at the foot of Senator Monday Okpebholo as the governor that we elected recently.